Okay. There we go. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Copbox. So I recently learned that GameStop is apparently pivoting to make specific stores retro locations, or GameStop Retro. So I figured I'd go take a look at one and see what we could find. But first, I need to make something to eat. Ooh. Okay. So as I was saying, GameStop announced the other day that they are now going to be turning some of their stores into retro locations. From what it sounds like, some of their other stores that had a few leftover games from older systems and some of the online backstock they have is going to be sent out to turn more of these locations into more retro-focused shops. I'm curious to see how that turns out, especially with their pricing, because they can probably get a lot of these games for the under market price instead of the crazy high prices that retro games have turned into for now. They even have a website that I'll link in the description over here that lets you put in your zip code and it'll tell you the closest store that is supporting the retro selling. Now, I'm sure that they're still just getting started off with a lot of this, so I'm not expecting a whole lot, but we're gonna pop over to the closest one to me and see what we can find. Okay, let's see what we can find. Okay. All right, that was interesting. So I did manage to get a few things. They did have a retro section. It was mostly just a normal GameStop, but they had a small corner wall. It wasn't even labeled with anything. It just kind of had some art, and it just had a handful of games, and they were all labeled with the exact same box art that just said retro gaming. I wasn't able to get too much of a shot, just kind of this clip here, but they had 360 games, they had Wii games, they had Wii U games. I saw a couple DS, 3DS, Vita games, all just kind of sitting in a thing. I picked out a few of them that I have brought home with me. One second. Now, so something I noticed is that when I went up, I saw a copy of Republic Commando for the Xbox. It just had this green case that said Retro Gaming, and it said Republic Commando on it, and it was like $8, and I was like, sure, why not? But when I went up to the front and I purchased it, they ended up giving me a nice version of it. Okay, it's the Platinum Hits, which is cool. That means I can put it on my shelf and actually have it in a case instead of just a generic GameStop case, which is pretty nice. I realized I should check the disc on these. I mean, they looked at the disc when I bought it, so I'm assuming it's fine. That's not too bad. Seeing a little bit of wear, but certainly looks playable. So it looks like my Xbox copy of Republic Commando doesn't seem to be working on my 360. It's just showing up as unrecognized disc. That's a bit of a bummer. However, I am going to try it on my Xbox Series X and see if that makes a difference. Interestingly enough, it seems like it installed on my X. So, I mean, that's good. It's backwards compatible. Maybe it's not backwards compatible on the 360, but it is on the X. But either way, game still works. I can play it on one of my Xboxes. This game's really fun. It kind of reminds me of what would happen if a Star Wars team attempted to kind of make their own Halo. It's kind of got this team mechanic where you can send different members of the squad to go do certain things or pick up health or take on a certain enemy or stuff like that. It's very simple, but it's really, really fun. I beat this game on my Switch a while back, and I've always wanted to pick up a physical version of it, so now I got it. The next one that I got was DK Jungle Climber for the DS. Now, this one came in a full red case, and I was kind of wondering how they were going to put a DS thing in there. The game's not in there, and I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get some sort of case for it. All I ended up getting was this little plastic something that the cartridge is in, which that's fine. I've never actually played this game, and to be honest, I haven't even put this cartridge into anything yet. You will probably see me filming some B-roll while I'm speaking about it, playing the game, and doing something with it. I actually know next to nothing about this, but I always could use another Donkey Kong game in my library. The last thing I bought was a Wii U game because they actually had a pretty large selection of Wii U games there. Most of those had their original box art, not the one that I picked out, but I got a copy of Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. Now, the funny part is this is in an old classic pre-owned case that they clearly just had sitting around. That makes sense. I'm a little bummed I didn't get some sort of case for it, or like one of the ones that said Retro Gaming. I actually kind of wanted one of those just for the posterity's sake. I should have taken a picture. Maybe next time. All right, we're going to do the disc check. Let's see, that's actually in pretty good condition. Whoever had this either took care of it or didn't play it. But this is another one that I'm happy to add to my collection. This is a shockingly good racing game based off the Sonic franchise where you can transform into boats and cars and planes. And it's also available like on backwards compatibility for Xbox 360 or, you know, any Xbox console, as well as I think they put it on PS3. If you see this game for cheap on any system, I'd really recommend it. It's a good car racer. Well, there you have it. I mean, I guess GameStop has decided to start carrying a bit more retro stuff, which I think makes sense. But do I think that you should be going out of your way to find these retro GameStop stores? Maybe not. We'll see how they expand over time, or if they expand over time outside of just a small section in select specific stores. I kind of was under the impression they were going to revamp the store into a full retro thing. Maybe they're still going to do that, but right now it was just a GameStop that had a corner of old games in it. The prices weren't terrible. They were all pretty matched. I did a little bit of peeking at pricecharting.com to kind of get an idea for what I was paying for, and everything seemed pretty reasonable. So I don't know. I'd say maybe check out their website and see if there's a retro store near you. And if there is, yeah, maybe give it a peek, see if they got a couple titles you like. But you're better off going and finding those sort of mom and pop or like local shops, sort of retro stores. And plus, we want to support those anyways, especially with GameStop. But it was an interesting little trip, and I thought this was kind of a fun video to make. I didn't really have a plan for this. It's just when I saw the announcement, I was like, well, all right, let's go check it out. And we did. And yeah, it was pretty fun. Either way, thanks for watching. Go ahead and click subscribe if you want to see me do more little dumb things like this. And go ahead and like the video if you enjoyed this little thing. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.